about. I am not saying that lightly. I will prove it in a minute. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists, except Asmongold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is. That's a bit loaded though. In this case, I'm using the second definition of lie. I have no evidence it's the first. This video came out right as we were building momentum, then except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork. This put me in kind of a no-win scenario too. Because if I ignored it, then a lot of people are going to get misinformed about the campaign. But if I did a response video, which is not something I wanted to do anyway, then it might look like drama farming, which could understandably turn off a lot of people from the campaign, because it's not about that at all. So I quickly made this video trying to clear up all misconceptions and concerns about the initiative with timestamps for everyone's questions, hoping the truth would eventually come out. I can see now that was a mistake. I should have just embraced the drama. To this day, I'm still getting frequent comments and emails about the same falsehoods about the campaign that originated in this video. Well, now I have nothing to lose. If we don't get the signatures, then none of this matters anyway. So if this campaign is failing because of me not talking about this, then I'll at least correct history here on the way down. I'll get this over with and go over what I think are the biggest points of Pirate Software's videos. I'm not going to go over everything because collectively Thor has made hours of video on both me and the movement. I'd be here forever. Believe me, I could address smaller things too, and kind of already have. Alright, let's start. Okay, point number 1. Thor does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand, the Stop Killing Games initiatives is basically, we don't want single-player games to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do not need a server to support them.
No.
And as much as they want it to be about specifically games where it is a single-player game that has always online functionality, it would impact every live service game that exists, instead of just targeting single-player, always online games.
No, that's not what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them. He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression. This is what I mean. It's harder for gamers to understand this because they come with so many assumptions. It's like that saying about doctors being the worst patients. So let's clear this up. It's the first line on the website. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers. But the movement includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly talking about the initiative. Well, the short version is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support. The long version depends on what kind of transaction is being made. As you can see, it's not easy to explain in a soundbite. But if you notice, we don't make a distinction between single-player and multiplayer games. That's because the law doesn't either. So why make this even harder? Both the movement and the law are making distinctions on how games are sold. Also, that part he said about it affecting all live service games? Yes and no. It would affect most live service games in the future, but the initiative is not retroactive. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single player. Once again, he made that up, and I have no idea why he thought that.
Transitioning an entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single-player, rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable? Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down. and suddenly you have to make it a single-player game for every individual that ever bought the game. That's what they're asking for.
No.
Because they would have to sunset live service games as a single-player experience. The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service game playable single-player offline? No, dude.
Correct. No. This one is particularly baffling to me because I've heard most counter-arguments before, but until Thor, I've never heard this one. That we want the industry to convert all multiplayer games into single-player ones. I keep saying it, you never know where gamers are going to take this.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it will impact.
He never has that light bulb moment. Well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for. But those were his streams with a smaller audience. What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future...
now he's changed it again and is making up how it's about single-player games are advertised. What is he doing?
It needs to be specific about the business practice it's trying to defeat, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay elements. That's the problem.
No, that's not it at all.
And there are some people that'll say, well, just make it all single-player.
Like
well,
you?
I've explained that doesn't make any sense in the first place. If you're making it all single-player, you'd have to carve off all of that, and it's developer time and money. These are two different ideologies, and that's okay to have two different ideologies. I just won't agree with it.
But those aren't the ideologies. Nothing in the initiative is asking to convert games to single-player.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Yeah, so why does he keep bringing it up? This is a total red herring.
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No, he's getting a new thing wrong now. We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer. Just use logic. If we didn't like them in the first place, why would we care if they're being destroyed? He says he gets it, but he doesn't.
Let's talk about the actual bad business practices. In the case that a studio is making a live service game and they sell it to you as a product, they say that you are purchasing the game or you are buying the game, when in reality you're actually purchasing or buying a license to that game. I think that we should be fighting about that. The initiative is not trying to call that out specifically. It's trying to say that all games need to stay in a functional, playable state.
Yes!
Which is not calling out the language that is being used to manipulate the player. Call that out specifically.
Okay, I don't know if he's doing this intentionally. I'll be charitable and assume he's not. But this is some serious obfuscation. He's complaining that the initiative isn't focused on another topic he made up. I mean, what is...
Okay, so we're back. My captioner is not working. My captioner is saying something different. Look at that. Let's see here. Hello, captioner. Hello, captioner. There you go. So it takes a while before the captioner displays anything. Anyway, guys, we're back. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another reaction. This time, it's for the video called "Stop Killing Games" by Side Scrollers. And good guys, if you want to watch the video without anyone talking over it, just go to Side Scrollers YouTube channel and watch the video there. So again, the video was titled very simply, "Just Stop Killing Games." Let's go and check it out. Oh, before that, let's go and see the Stop Killing Games of our page. So right now, well, the last time I refreshed this, you can see the number of signatures. I'm going to refresh it again. Okay, so there is another 1,000 signature increase. So it was 621K or 1,000. Now it's at 622,000. Let's go back to this one and watch it.
Let's talk about the Stop Killing Games thing that's been going on over the last 9 months, but it's escalated in the last few days. Now, Kirsha, what do you know about this whole Stop Killing Games thing?
What I know about Stop Killing Games is that it was some video that some YouTuber made and then a bunch of people reacted to, and then Pirate Software was like, actually, fuck the consumer. We need to not do things that would be consumer friendly. And I was like, well, that's weird, considering your name is Pirate Software. And everyone was like, Kirsha, he's actually anti-Pirate Software, which is weird for his name. And I was like, chat, why would he name himself that? And that's all I know.
Okay, so it flared back up the last few days, and we were going to talk about this yesterday because I wanted to get Ross on the show. Now, Blabs has reached out to Ross. I have reached out to Ross. Ross has declined coming back on the show because he says that he wants to hit a new audience, right? And I think that, look, that's fine. That's cool. Do whatever you need to do, Ross. So now I think it's fair for us to talk about it since we offered bringing it up. I found this great channel. We showed this yesterday, but this is kind of a quick TLDR of what's going on with Stop Killing Games, and then we'll continue here because there's more to this story. Okay. Here we go.
Stop Killing Games is a movement started by Ross Scott, owner of the channel Accursed Farm. The movement's goal is to force game devs to have an end-of-life plan for their games, so people's games won't be unplayable once the servers shut down. Something that happened to the Ubisoft game The Crew. Sadly, YouTuber Pirate Software misrepresented the initiative, claiming Ross was asking for all live service games to have a single-player mode and have their servers run indefinitely when he just wants games to be made with post-support functionality in mind. The bad PR really hurt the campaign, as with less than 40 days left, the EU petition has less than half the needed signatures. So make sure to spread the word and sign the petition if you live in the EU, as this succeeding could ensure our games are playable for years to come. That's 47 minutes saved. See you next time.
Okay, so
Oh, thanks for the TLDR, guy.
yeah, this is a great little channel I just found. I really appreciate it. It's good. So when he says 47 minutes, there's a lot there. There's a lot of videos to watch, but this whole thing spurred back up when a couple days ago, 3 days ago, in fact, Ross, I said Ross, but Ross from Accursed Farms, who once again has been on the channel before and talked about this initiative, opened up a new video. It was about an hour long here. And this, where you can see the title there, "The End of Stop Killing Games." Now, why is this important? And I'm going to save everybody about an hour here. Now, this whole video here, a quick TLDR, is that this isn't just about one game. It's meant to be like a legal precedent, right? Ross isn't mad about The Crew getting shut down. He's highlighting that there are no clear laws in most countries protecting your rights to access what you've paid for. So he's targeting this on the EU in particular. And he talks about how like the most common misunderstanding here is that Ross never asked publishers to keep games alive forever or fund multiplayer servers indefinitely. Instead, the campaign proposal was that if you shut it down,
that was something
consumers or the
Pirate Software made up.
Right? That's the whole idea here, is that if you're going to say goodbye to your game, let the audience take care of it.
That was never the intention.
Exist after that.
Pirate Software made up a lot of things that was not in the campaign.
He said much of the opposition, especially from him, was built on the false idea that the movement was demanding indefinite publisher support and force devs to convert MMOs into single-player games. And that's kind of the general thought on this. And Pirate Software really came in, and his role was like absolutely devastating towards this movement, right? Thor's misunderstanding to the campaign was very influential and was filled with inaccuracies. And that's kind of the issue that was put in on this. And Ross was like brutally honest during this video. He talked about how major creators like Asmongold and Linus Tech Tips and Yongye and whatever talked about it, but ultimately they couldn't overcome apathy. And he says in the video, this was like a really, really big thing. And I know this from working online for a long time. The biggest obstacle wasn't getting gamers to care about games. It was getting people to care about anything, right? And I've said this before a million times. The hardest thing to do online is to get somebody to click a link. That's it. It's very hard to do. And in this case, not enough people click the link. So the European Citizen Initiative will likely fail. And that Ross has said that he's done with Stop Killing Games after July 31st. And he's not bitter, but he's just kind of deeply burnt out and needs to return to making like traditional videos on his YouTube channel. So, but he said if someone else would like to take the torch, that's fine. He just can't do it. But he said the window of opportunity is closing. So I think this is like a case study of how gamers have like zero rights when it comes to digital purchases. And this is one guy trying to fix it. And he just got buried under like apathy, misinformation, and corporate indifference, if that makes sense.
And I think the apathy has been a big issue for years, right? Because again, when like the original Gamergate happened, a lot of people were like, "Oh, we can just laugh at these guys and they'll go away because nobody will take them seriously." And lo and behold, a decade later, they've been taken seriously. They embedded themselves in the gaming industry. They made everything worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, it has seen a little bit of a signature bump in this proposal here. It's supposed to have a million signatures, and if you live in Europe, then by all means go sign it. It's currently sitting at 553,000, which is up like almost 100,000 since this whole brouhaha has happened. So there's a lot there. Now, there's been a lot of pushback on Pirate Software based off of him more or less spearheading.
The weird thing is,
I don't know,
a lot of people believed Pirate Software.
Didn't want to get behind it.
Because if no one believed what he said, then
like he was someone who was
the campaign wouldn't have been
gamers' rights,
derailed.
you own what you buy type of deal, and he just completely went the opposite direction.
But because a lot of people believed him,
Even listening was just spewing
it affected the
information like a moron.
growth of
180 on his
the campaign.
stance.
That's
So
it.
like, yeah, people are calling
Which
him a fraud.
surprises me that it's taken about 9 months for him to get like real backlash over. Like I remember some people being angry about it when it first happened, but for the most part, like he just like nothing really happened.
Well, he came out yesterday and he put a post on X, and it's a pretty long post here, but I'll just kind of sum it up so we don't have to read
You're underwater.
it. Thank you. So this post,
That is a problem with
We're still underwater.
what do you call this? Browser-based
Like trying to
streaming
am I better?
There you are.
There we go. Okay.
or browser-based studio.
There, whenever I go underwater instead of that. All right. Maybe to play this one next time. Sometimes you got to slap a bitch.
No, what we really need is like a bunch of water, like bubbles or whatever, so it really does like actually make you look like you're underwater.
I don't think it's an internet thing. I really don't. I have really good internet, but
Nope, it's not the internet thing. It's the it's the studio thing.
his thing is that it's a technical
It
challenge.
happens also in Rumble Studio
Online only games like
if you're using the studio
quote, functional
or the studio mode.
post shutdown is his argument is that it's infeasible due to server dependency, and he puts together a puts together like some data from the 2021 Game Developers Conference, and it was like 68% of online games cease functionality after server closure. And his post really like highlights the tension, between, obviously Pirate Software, despite leaving AAA gaming in 2016, he is facing backlash for aligning with developer concerns. So there's obviously a divide here, and that's kind of where we're at with these things. Now, his friends have reached out to him, be like, I don't understand how you don't understand, right? That's the thing that most people have talked about here is, Pirate Software being on this side, he's thrown out all sorts of really like passive aggressive language at people, talking about how, like you're not, just more or less talking about how people are dumb when it comes to the situation. It's one of those, I'm smarter than you. You need to understand what I'm saying here.
Well, I mean, isn't it, when you think about the fact that he's like making his own live service game, I'm pretty sure he's working on an MMO. There's a conflict of interest. And so I feel like there's less benefit of the doubt to give him of, oh, he just doesn't understand, he's misconstruing it. And it more falls into the territory of he's probably maliciously lying because it will personally benefit him.
Well, and you're probably right? Why would somebody not support something that doesn't directly benefit him, right? He closed here, and this is what I'm talking about with like passive aggressive nature here. He says, just because I don't support this doesn't mean you should blindly follow me. And that just because I said pretty words on the internet, you also shouldn't blindly bash me because some other creator said so. Watch the videos I put out, read the initiative, decide for yourself. Apply critical thinking and don't outsource it to others over here.
I mean, that's a good thing to say. I can get behind that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that. That's fine. But here's the thing. I don't think that he's doing that for himself, because this was here from Moist Critical. He dropped a video, a couple videos, as you can see, from Pirate Software. And I watched this last night, and I was honestly kind of surprised. He talks about how he reached out to him. Here's a 1-minute clip.
Not believe his ego. His ego is so out of control. I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin. That's the truth because Pirate Software said so. Some shit like that. It's crazy how he's responded. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening to it. And he goes on that same talking point multiple times in the clip about how, like, oh, I guess I'm fully to blame. I guess because I made those videos 10 months ago, it's my fault entirely that this whole thing crashed and burned. Yep. Oh boy. Time to play a sad song on the world's smallest violin for the Stop Killing Games movement, all because Big Bad Pirate Software took it all down by himself. Like, it's crazy. No one's saying that. There is no one out there that is saying it is entirely Pirate Software's fault that Stop Killing Games hasn't been more successful in its endeavors. But there's irrefutable evidence that you had a detrimental not believe.
So yeah,
true.
To the idea, and he goes on in the video to further talk about how just like they clearly don't agree as far as Moist Critical and his buddy Pirate Software are talking about this, and it's like talking to a wall more or less. And Pirate Software is so dug in on this issue that he just refuses to even look at the other side, and he hides behind the idea of, well, critical thinking, and he has this holier than thou thought process on here. And I mean, for me, this just strictly comes back to, consumer rights, customer rights, the idea of having these things, and I don't understand what is so bad about the
look at that. I was like
time to shut down a game,
saying it
the game
a few days ago that maybe, just maybe,
if you're shutting down your game,
the
fan base is very small.
the corporate gaming
Understand what the hiccup or what the whole
industry or the gaming corporations got the door,
we're not
and
talking about worldwide.
he received some compensation to derail the campaign.
Everybody has their own laws.
It's not impossible.
And another thing that shows you that
Again,
you can't just legislate.
That is just a conspiracy theory.
Is when the loot box legislation was happening, and I want to say it was Denmark, made it so that like you couldn't have. I don't remember exactly what their law was, but they did something with like loot boxes, And instead of like complying with the loot box law, I was playing Final Fantasy Mobius at the time, and the developers of Final Fantasy Mobius decided that instead of complying with the loot box laws, was it Belgium? Okay, sorry, it was Belgium, not Denmark. Instead of complying with the loot box laws in Belgium, they just decided we're not going to publish Final Fantasy Mobius in your country anymore. So you couldn't access it without a VPN. And so it's like companies will always find a way to continue doing their like weird, skeevy, money-grubbing nonsense unless you actually make it detrimental for them to do so in their largest markets.
I think there are some people who just think totally different, and it's unfortunate. And the same reason why pirate software is blown up is the same reason. Like, this goes back to the thing I say about Nintendo. The same reason why you love Nintendo is the same reason why you hate Nintendo, right? They're very protective of the things. I think in a situation like this, the same reason why pirate software has blown up as far as the way he thinks, people agree with certain things, his analogies that he gives, people appreciate that. I feel like maybe his ego has gotten in a way here, his own way, which is something that we see all the time from content creators. There needs to be everybody online has some sort of narcissism to them, right? But it's just a matter of how deep you jump into your own pile of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And I think in this situation, he's just jumped head in, and he refuses to see the other side of the argument, like, at all, which is probably the most shocking and sad thing when it comes to this. So I'll be curious to see how this has affected his viewership, his audience, if his audience has been divided even further.
Looking at Social Blade today,
was seen as like
the pirate software YouTube channel
really
lost
strong advocate
40 subscribers, 40,000 subscribers.
The exact opposite of what's been going on with him.
But then again, he has 2 million
Do you have anything to close
subscribers.
that out, Kirsha?
I mean, I guess it's just
Is that, I guess
supposed to be
it
something
has an effect because
for gamers, and he's just like absolutely.
those could be 40,000 active subscribers, and not just
It's like, I don't know, that feels really weird.
the million
Too much about
that are not even engaging in
upset, so it's
with his content.
good he's getting called out again. Maybe we can attribute this to ignorance somehow, but I feel like it's more malice because it's self-serving. But if it is ignorance, maybe he can have his mind changed.
This is, I mean, his channel is a powerhouse, and
Yeah.
you can look at his Social Blade analytics here. You can see exactly when he blew up right here. October of 2023, blew up over here. Massive.
Yeah, that is a massive blow up. Holy.
I mean, holy moly, right? He's just piddling along. Then I think this is when Shorts came out, and that's really kind of where he blew up. Kind of came out of nowhere. He's still doing 88 million views of his content every month. 88 million, despite seeing a drop off here. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars every month just from his YouTube, assuming that it's not all shorts. So, man, what a mess. Now, you pointed this out, Kirsha. You're right. Pirate Software being a game publisher, pushing a live service, and figured he wouldn't get caught farming an initiative good for gamers, for viewers. But now it doesn't look like he doesn't have the good guy mandate of heaven and is getting cooked alive, right? Because he did go in and he had another post that just totally nuked off the internet. So
Why did he nuke it?
I don't know. You know, you think that if you're going to put together something that is this long, that you definitely feel okay.
Stand by it, right? Yeah.
Right. And he's, you know, he says, I personally feel okay.
Okay, so the reason why I pause is because I'm going to read what's down there. Pilot just recently put out a video complaining about a game being killed. This initiative would prevent this. He's completely disingenuous, of course.
Buy it, right? Yeah.
Right. And he's, you know, he says, I put out 2 videos disagreeing with your initiative 10 months ago and haven't talked about it since. Now your initiatives have failed and you're blaming me for 33 minutes of an hour-long video covering it. Your community is out in force shitting on our streams and socials with hate messages. That's what it always comes back to. Hate messages.
Yeah, it does.
It's always hate. Someone who disagrees with me is hate. Threats and snide comments over here. So anyways, he ended up deleting this. as quote unquote proof. So
Of course.
yeah. All right. What a mess! What a mess that is, guys. Thanks again for your supers. Let's get to some of your thoughts on this as well. Zayfair says Pirate Software learned a lot from his time at Blizzard, including the mentality of the company owns the game even after you quote unquote buy it. Stop Killing Games actively undermines that mentality. Game Hunter says, I didn't get the platinum for Black Desert Online. I kept looking online. What time does the shutdown begin? All I got was it shut down on the 26th today. Maintenance happens 2 hours soon at 11 p.m. Well, good luck with that, man. Good luck.
I don't know what that means.
He's trying to get the platinum before a game shuts down. So,
oh, they're actually shutting down Black Desert?
That's what he said, yeah.
Okay.
Ministry Wrong Thing says stop trying to victim blame.
What?
The dude
Oh, let me check that.
Not trying to victim blame, but the dude who running Stop Killing Gangs is part responsible too. Why wait 10 months to set the record straight? Correcting misinformation about a cause spread by a massive channel isn't quote drama farting. It's defending your cause. Wanted to defend yourself after 10 months because drama absolutely hurt.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he did. Didn't he? When the whole thing.
Yes, he did.
Because I remember him going on other people's channels and talking about it.
Yeah, he went on other people's channels and talked about it. I don't know about this, like, drama farming thing. Like, yeah, if you delay something because you don't want to be seen as, like, causing drama or drama farming, absolutely on you. Defending yourself or defending your cause is not drama farming as much as people want to try and claim that.
He did because he made an FAQ video.
Interest that you keep your mouth shut, so.
In my brief experience with Ross, he doesn't strike me as a guy who likes to get into the middle of nonsense, right? He kind of went into this with a you know, quote unquote noble cause, and in turn that has, because he went in as a gentlemanly, I guess if that's the best way. He doesn't like to get in the mud sometimes and fight, which I think in that situation maybe that's what the argument is here, is that he should have fought harder. And I think when you say the end of something, that kind of lights a fire under people. Say like, look, I'm done with this, right? Maybe I should have said something earlier, but saying, hey, this is done, that lights a fire under people. And I will say this, you know, he said he's done with it July 31st. That's still over a month away. So he said like pretty much in 6 weeks, I'm done with it. So there is enough time for it to change. So, you know, if you guys haven't.
I put the link below on YouTube if anyone's interested in signing it.
Yeah, and it's like that's fine. That's fine if like Ross is a nice guy who doesn't get involved in drama. Defending yourself.
He definitely did that because I've seen him. I've literally seen him live go on other people's channels and discuss it against pirates. So
but it's like you know, there's always the people who are just like, oh, you know, he doesn't get involved in drama. And it's like that's fine.
He didn't do enough.
Drama. Yeah, this isn't drama. This is just him defending himself.
Put an asterisk there. I actually probably will lose all your hair.
Okay, so that was Side Scrollers talking about Stop Killing Games. What I thought they were going to get Ross of Oculus Forums as a guest. I thought wrong. Anyway, guys, if you want to watch the video without me talking over it, you can go to Science Scholars channel and watch it there. Also, let's go and check the Stop Killing Games website or page. So 622K. Okay, so there was a slight, maybe a 500 signature increase in that span of, I guess, 20 minutes. So if you're in the EU and you'd like to stop the practice of game developers and publishers in killing their games whenever they are done with it, you can go to the webpage stopkillinggames.com and sign the initiative. Again, it's only for the EU. Okay, so guys, that's it. Want to watch the video without me talking? Go to Side Scholars channel in YouTube. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Peace.